Wel, ha gael spores iddi fi et all, eith BBC Alpa iddi jiddi hech gang is sio, ac sy'n gyntiwn gyda'r gan an SWPL y diw le Glasgow City, y cwth falcha eith Rangers Glasgow City, and the bacon de grochwn de dras Rangers aig bar y league, and the jewhwn. Sean mar a ha chlar, I can use the yen alarm ha Rangers mar a hwrs me aig bar y league and the jewhwn de tricket ke Pwingen. Och Pwingen eith hosioch eith Glasgow City sy dres of Archer Celtic bias yn y clich Hamilton nas animicha eith yn iesgyd eith tricket 3. Agus y J Hibernian General Chwys eith mynd naifchin ach gehart y ga gehyn. Hello, falter of a carton gore game. Bio show eighth BBC Alpa in the Niesker aha show is Fisker aha. The Akilior ha show na Turuk dras am mythology kejera shin ra as well upper game a hacking gives the SWPL Glasgow City Cuth Falcher eighth Rangers Amy McDonald them her dras. Amy, thanks as always for joining us here on BBC Alpa, and it's a big game. Glasgow City welcoming Rangers here to Petershill Park. Earlier on in the season, these two sides played out a 1-1 draw. How do you see this one going this afternoon?
I think it'll be a really interesting game. I think when you move to this pitch and it's Glasgow City's home ground, it becomes quite transitional, it becomes a bit more of a fight, so it'll be really interesting, and obviously we know that Glasgow City will be trying to close that gap.
Yeah, you mentioned that gap there. We just saw the league table 8 points behind Rangers. They do have a game in hand, of course, but what have you made of Glasgow City, particularly over the last couple of months?
They're obviously in a period of transition. I think they lost, obviously, Jenna Clark going to Liverpool, and it's difficult now in the women's game in terms of your own recruitment to be able to bring players of that quality in and young players through. So it takes time for some of the players to settle, but Leanne and Glasgow City are never a club to be written off because they've got this willpower, this determination to be able to just continue and claw it back.
Rangers themselves have been under a transitional period as well, of course, and they're doing very well at the moment, top of the league, 1 point clear of Celtic, who are playing later on as well. What have you made of Joe Potter's start so far? Yeah,
I was there when we brought Jo in, and I think that if you know Jo as a character, she's really focused, and she's focused on the detail, but she's also a really good person. So they obviously went through quite a difficult period in terms of injuries, and at that point they brought in Lily Bands, but they've settled the squad really well. They've made a couple of key changes to how they wanted to play from when Jo first came in to now, but I think they're in a good run of form. They've obviously got a bit of momentum, but I'm pretty sure Glasgow City want to stop that today.
How key was it though for Rangers? Obviously you mentioned that you were part of getting Jo in. How key was it to get someone of her quality into the dugout here at Rangers?
It's huge because the women's game's changing all the time. It's really, really difficult, and I think that one of the key things that Jo's been able to do that some of the other managers is bring players, because you've obviously then seen some of the English players coming up. So you've got Rio Hardy, who's been key for Rangers, who Jo had a relationship with. She brought in Rachel Rowe as well, but also as well we had a really good foundation of players, and squad size is key when you're going into the season now. There's so many games. We're actually we've got the most games in Europe, I think. So
it's a tough season.
Yeah, it's a long season, so squad size and having depth and strength, and that's really important.
Well, let's hear from Joe Potter now. Bacon up a try. Who are niach adish aluk enli fakel Joe Potter. Agus a dosha gashaw Leanne Ross.
Leanne, after the cup defeat, is this a good game to come back to against your title rivals?
I think any game in terms of coming back in and trying to do a bit better than we did last Friday night is key, and I think it'll be a huge challenge today, but yeah, of course it's an exciting one that we're all looking forward to.
You did create lots of chances in that game last week, and I'm guessing that's something you'll have worked on in training this week, getting that clinical edge up front.
Yeah, I said that after the game last week. The only thing that I thought was missing was that clinical edge in terms of our first half performance, and I think that's something that Celtic had in the game in abundance. So until we bring that back into our game, then we're going to have problems, so we're hoping that we can have it today.
It's early days yet, you've got a game in hand as well, but the gap is 8 points. Presumably, does this game fall into a must-not-lose game at least?
I don't think we're in that territory just yet, but all the games when you play against the teams that are at the top of the table fighting with you are very important, so we've put huge importance on the game today, but first and foremost we're looking for a better performance so that we can at least challenge for the 3 points that are on offer today.
Jo, you come into this game with great momentum, but I'm assuming the word complacency will also feature in your team talk. You know this will be quite a tough game against one of your title rivals.
Yeah, we know this game's going to be tough. It's not going to be an easy game. My team hasn't been complacent so far. It's something that, you know, we've not really had to speak about. We drive standards week in, week out, and we know we can't take teams lightly, no matter who we're playing. So I'm confident that my team are going to come in with the right attitude today.
You'll always look to improve, though. When you were looking back to the last game, the only 2 points dropped have been against City.
Yeah.
On a narrower pitch, that presents a different kind of challenge for your team today as well.
It does. We're a very different team than when we played them last time anyway. So are they. We've both got a few different players in the squad and potentially in the team today. So it's going to be a very different game. I'm looking forward to it, and we know the threats that City can pose against us, but we also know how we can potentially hurt them too.
It's early days yet. You've played a game more, but it's a chance to go 11 points clear today. That could be significant.
It could be. You know, we always want to strive to be better. We want to create that gap and make it as big as possible. You know, we just want to win every game. So if that points, you know, 8 points or 11 points come the end of the game, then so be it. But we want to make that gap as big as possible and keep pushing forward and being better week in, week out.
Shitgaif Mahana, manager, and Joe Potter. I could say that Gagas Ronishin, Leanne Ross. Amy, I just want to ask you there about Alec asked Leanne about, is this a must not lose game? It could potentially be a must win game, sorry, as well. What's your opinion on that? Do you think that that's a territory City are in at the moment?
I think it's an unusual territory for Glasgow City to be in, because it's not something that they're used to, because usually in the previous seasons it's maybe been 1 or 2 points. So for the gap to be so substantial is a concern. But as we were just discussing there, the season's so long now. You've obviously got the split to come as well. You've got the January transfer window. So a lot can change. All it takes is a couple of injuries, whether it's female football or male football, and it can change your outcomes very, very quickly. So yes, in my opinion, but as well, like, we know how long the season is, and this season and having experienced it, is definitely a marathon, not a race.
And of course, Leanne Ross has won this title so many times as a player. Of course, won it last season as well as head coach. How much pressure, though, is she under, in your opinion, at the moment?
A huge amount of pressure, but the person that will put the most pressure on themselves is Leanne. That's the type of player and it's the type of person that she is, so she's always pushing herself to be better. And I think it's really different from when we all came through. We had a standard and an expectation, but players, the world's changed now, so how you manage and how you convey that message is really, really important.
Let's see what happens here today, Amy. Thank you as always. Well, ein na hechin che hakris the show fisker du ag parke croch part the hitching an allenish goornya gaders on our game fisker du Alco Henley.
More than thank you, Vinchel. I guess another Camore, the Leanne Ross, Sitchin was Slia, Tarsin, the Path gift for Huchum. I guess Famed to God Ash, Gomiang, a Daver, that Megadic Vinicat game, and no Yaporang, the Norsen, had the Vikunan, Control, no Hearts, had the Cow, the SK Brand, as a Champions League, da Hurus, I guess Highlight, Mara, Holishin, and the Kukpa League, and the Celtic, Tricugnoni, Junior Sakai, I guess, and who the Huchumora, and no Skipper Rangers, had all. Vier laatje uit Mullig. De league said Chorus Licket Tull, Licket the Shack Tull of Hood to the Hoch, the League Alastair and Skipper Joe Potter. I guess Kate in the Chemical Nation, and you let the Tull itch it, League Alastair. Machine at Tulan, Michaela Muir is Carcaju, Fiacandi, Shaw Hyundai, Mancours, Heisach, Kavelat Comus of Edition. I guess Marikishan Shinatan and Glasgow City had Duish. The Av League in the band van het hees en a gai. Agus stoch je goede vaardige Rangers. Gewille duo shashin agus nach de suas duo shashin kan 3. Agus gefeim Joe Potter. Agus skipper G Killigano is on a duo shashin. Horch Edash Wope. Da skipper terug. Befaalt je de gele run again. Agus een neer gehuwde skipper in a 3-aardig. Ze skipper City Amy Muir. And the Montalo, I guess Maddie Fulton, the Tuchum Conopingi, I guess Abby Larkin, Charlotte Wardroach in the stay, me and a path gip, I guess Kinga Kozak, Kuchak in the stay, through the me and a path Geisen. Kate Archie and Rangers, when a skipper in command now, Muir, Sahukpet, Jenna Fife, Rachel McLaughlin, Chelsea Cornet, I guess Brogan Hay, Chile Gadashka and a skipper, Victoria Essen, Megan Bell, me and Kaunley, I guess Michelle Coulson. The Tuchum Conopingi. I guess session point in McGee Fat Kishoik Rock Patrick. I guess Bow Gaurjid And you to get a game Karen Moore on the Rutan Machine Tacharch. I guess reach it up took Alabui. I guess fair the game of good getol. That skip it all and a Kerkel roll live. Rangers as a Legion Gala Falla Vonadai. I guess reach it up near the park. Connor Ashwood. Fine Teich for Christopher Irving. Evan Morgan, Sakera Bopica, Jamie Andrews. I guess that's in the need of that. Jishal is on Toshachuk. I guess the Jachkadach, the Kudamach, and a Jachkel like Glasgow City. Even McDonald, the Voss called him in the spirit. And Amy, just focusing on Glasgow City, I imagine the message going out is to start early, to start quick, and not concede anything.
Yeah, I think there'll be an element of caution in how Glasgow City probably approach the game. They won't want to concede an early goal. I think one of the key things is that Lee Gibson's been a huge player for them this season, so it's not an easy thing to be able to score goals against them. But it'll be a really interesting start to the game.
I guess Glasgow City had all good game getol. Then Lavera, who are the here too, like get the Glasgow City, the now Rangers in the stride of the Taysan. For the Stu game goed getol. Weet je dat je gaat het Sul Chimichel, Sul me jede keer nooit dat I guess game goed getol. Dashko Wardlow, hij is het voor Chelsea. Dus Kenzie Weir, die aan je lijn het zien. Oscarson, geven de fijne falla weer de bemoeig. Hoe je mag een pathje. Hier pattige stech in een game. Dalco Rangers they do val Nicky Doherty. And to Jesus Selena. Stuur Croata. Ed Hoshach, het Lizzie Arnott, of a fiech die fine Suez Selena. Not featured as much for Rangers this season. It's a chance for Lizzie Arnott to come in and impress today.
Yeah, but she's been a key player for a long time, and she's really difficult to play against because she can cut in the inside or go on the outside. So, a real quality player.
Hier, hoe wil je geen game met Dalco Glasgow City is aan een vruchtige fashion. Hier vast geleerd slier. Oscarson, de goede Ashko, Kenzie Weir. Michaela Moore, look at that Shalon Noag, the two of me and Yolena Giannick City. But all art fat the rope is vegan the Lauren Davidson in the state. Juva all the van Kuchuk, Kagas Arnott, you can define the dash, Davidson the Cheval Tarsing. Doherty is the Rad Kata. I guess leave Kirsty McLean, Carol Balshin at all. I guess touch a Kuchum Farrelina Gian. Wardlow, maar McGrath, die is het voor Chelsea. Als je hier als Champions League, die is geen jullie de Vitange goed kunnen vallen. Unie en harig in de ring, Leanne Ross. Oscarson, Jenna Kienjach, dan ga je Rio Hardy, je vallen boeien. Doherty. Howard. Hier bal kon toch gestuurd. Michaela Moore, geen vallen. Dat is toch geforst nog naar Purin te Howard. Smach geen hier daar op al. Is test middag. Het Ashko. Jenna Fife had Ash it in de push te doen. Zo hij fought shine. Jack in zijn gaai. Doherty leed Juval. Lach prachtig. Suez and Rachel Rowe. It may be an early indication there, Amy, about how Rangers will tackle the challenge of a narrow pitch, looking to get some high balls over the back line early.
Yeah, it's really interesting because Rangers have obviously in Glasgow City as well started off with a back three, which means that Rangers looks as if they're playing a 3-4-3. They're going to try and overload that back line, which means that you can get midfield runners sometimes, but also your wide players to be a wee bit more in attacking. But for Glasgow City, that can pull Lauren Davidson and Abby Larkin back in, and it can sometimes make it difficult to get up the pitch.
Abby Larkin, Tasha Huju, Kuchuk, look at the dog, either nog. Rowe. Hier is Oscarson, dat hij vastgerig heel is hier. Het gaat naar de winnetje gaan again. Yes, City, when you can hear it well, hele Lorder Cacao. Cornet Gagutch Wuipa. And goes Arnott, Le Corum. Well, Fumi Bowl was there. Give me Santa Gastech. The Skaga like Nicky Doherty. The Shadow Perkema. Haast that all. I is Jech. Me Orston at the Rachel Row. Haburinji. Fine Hanavui. Siko Perkusli. Tarsing of Oakset. You tell you can you brogan hay. Clean. You know, Ruth Shimply Marisash, Perkudash, Garicha McLaughlin. Lucy Anamach, Wardlaw. Yeah, that Kirsty Habit, I guess. The Helting in a reach of the Gray Nakinta, Gray Sulin in the Vowel of Eye. Yeah, she did catch a bit of Kirsty Habit there. Fear you whom Shach Giak Tow Lulikilet. That's where you hard in a sharp bullach Fichet Ashkisha son. He's an Ikishos of Hulafapish. Doherty. With the son. Clean. He's loaded up. Caught him a shot to Lavera. You can be here, caught him a crew. Kick the city. You can't nail it. And Jimmy Kalorikata is broken hay, Chinama. She takes the Kuchahu Lena, Gian. Lachlan. Yes, Falak in your row, Balachuma. Nurut Fear Melode. Nis Shabal Dasheke. En de Stuval compleetje Colavera gaat prachtig. Suez. Naar hij. Over 6 minutes gone, Amy, and it's been predictably kind of cagey in the early stages.
Yeah, I think that both teams, obviously Rangers have had a bit more secure possession, but as soon as you put the ball into the middle of the pitch for Glasgow City, it becomes a bit of a fight. And it's always the same at Petershill because it's so transitional, the pitch is a bit smaller, so you don't get a lot of time and space.
She knew that Joe Potter had the hottest day, and a passing, because I'm already van een goeltje, big and a share na vate, deze en a guy. Going to San Ronya, Oscarson and Divimugi. Die is Paulard going to San Lavera, do with a Shecha did Nicky Doherty. That's a tune the gay line, I guess. Fine Hogany. Hardy, Jew him they would push it. Go Arnott, Hadish, Hanuringi, and Shachat Lauren Davidson. The tag. Here's McLaughlin. Chinamacha Gaster van a cool, I guess Kahumalatol. Highly smachka the vowel section, Corum to Moor, Gutch Whipper. Test middag, Gratjach Gower Socket, Smachka comes to the vowel. McLaughlin drops a ball trying to corner it. I guess the is Michaela Moore come on came there. McLaughlin going to Sun Gloss it. Yes, ball trying can triplet to beat no mid tag. Gibson, Heide Hatches to skip an ash into Son again together. Sandy nicht hier aber Chinestay is an hier het bij Kisherud ik en eigenlijk toch die Gerabig Kutjach vaak al vrede mag ik muur Carson Cook Gibson Strach hoe geschön Wardlow Vier in de Prague alle de Rachel Rowe ach hem dat je zegt triplets zo Kenzie weer bal na zatje vallen Sin ball sé aró Larkin Norsen gaid siad as trochu van chluiche a dénach Til ró fein sechat da a bh hoch Chu am a ballach a tarsing a cha ro íseo agus roiske Michaela Muir Loider agus a levera toliche sat agus teach a gal Loider, in die Hummel dol. Clean, gain, dash golar. Hey, Chinamach, I see a good chow. And so the ball skipples to Kirsten McLean, Tarsi good Chelsea corner. As the Arnott the Moink show kind Geltenach on Rangers. And the ball passing. The Bosch in the Bazan, and that all started Amy from just the close control of Kirsten McLean. She has excelled since she's been given that responsibility in midfield this season.
Yeah, I think that Kirsten McLean, when she was coming through the Rangers Academy, it's actually a real natural ability. She's just got such an awareness of everything round about her, and you can, you know, when you've got that technique as well, she never loses the ball. And from a really early stage when she integrated with the first team players were never worried about giving it the ball.
Not pass the follow-up. Hornets go he. Kappa Chodora, bal local estate. I guess very hardy. It's toch een vadig in Corée fijn pikken te voeten van een koelig. Misschien kunnen kassen een gal afwipen. Hilly Loider. Skipper City. Juval zoals alleen. Vera. Loider. Lenta Laura. Noorsen Juval estate. Testmittag Sarat. Is Larkin. Natuurlijk helemaal. Job. Als er een vallig in karo. Heb je Larkin in de vaart kunnen er gaan zien. Weet je dan? Ze goed je komen het al. Je raakt je voor een schuur Rangers to the power line of Ash. Tag, Marco Doherty. Hier is de bal vatten. Tegen de eindje de Kenzie weer. Bal naar Sjaar, Oliveira. Hier to the side, fine stage with the ball. Lian. She doesn't agree with that decision. It looked like a close one, Amy.
It looked really tight. I'd be interested to ever so slightly, I would say. Maybe her left shoulder's a bit more advanced, but it's a tight call, but the right call by the assistant referee.
I guess I've worn a Juve Vowel of a shin is cool Larkin game you chillik this Njovig. That and have a fun finest day. Agus y bal diolch y chili gydash fa Rachel Rope bwr yn iawn ffasmach. Wardlow le Oscarson y dyfa mwyach y bal sy'n ei cwlwys gymig o ddasgo Lee Gibson. Davidson, bal art sŵs yn i'r match agos geiri y dŵa fast yn orsyn i'r Whelan ffain i cy. Whelan y ffiach yn ddi ffain ffasgyd Lavera i cynoi. Gyda oprychig y dash. Bal gynnygol ymach i ddifal. Sy'n mafo Docherty, oprychig Tarsenko McLean. Ainsley Castley, gasgwp Tarsenko Rachel McLaughlin. Hardy, Juhu ei bwyd bysio, Nashgo McLean, angos yn ysgat y dostol gymach y dwi fel. Rowe. Game has not quite caught fire yet, Amy, but that's because the two teams are largely cancelling each other out.
Yeah, I think that particularly when you see that Lauren Davidson and Larkin are dropping in, it becomes a back five. It's really difficult for Rangers to be able to then penetrate and be able to find a way through, so they've tried over the top. That's not worked either. But Glasgow City are battling well. The problem comes for them if they wide players are so deep they can't actually get up the pitch and get support to Lavera.
Agus Femi Larkin yn ysgili gyda'r fiach yn di rogan hei bwch iliach agus yn sy'n gleifa yn gyda ddo geir yna. Gyda so gefac poblwch na heir yn y cwpan y crinio yn o'i Australia. Fal sŵas go Lavera ddysg. Femi go dash go Oscarson. Davidson yn di cwsi yn ffain Chimichael y Gish. Wardlow. Gish bal dwyllich i fawn. Ys i Arnott, dyn ni'n chaig Oscarson sŵs y leina. Lavera, sŵag skippelta, mach go Whelan. Gish chad dyn nhw'n bic yn yw'r dy sŵs. Tŵsyn yn y ffathge. Wardlow ddys gynnau Chimichael y Kirsten McLean. Ddys eich yn y mach a sy'ch i chawn. Again, Amy, Kirsten McLean is so composed in those tight situations. Always seems to come out with the ball at her feet.
Yeah, I think that you would think that she's, 42. She plays with so much grace and maturity and experience, but she's actually such a humble person. But she's so reassuring and calm in these situations that it assures the team to be able to keep possession and then get movement off of her.
So much so that you don't really notice that Sam Kerr has gone. She's really come in and replaced a different kind of player maybe, but that's testament to the way she's grabbed her opportunity as well, both at club and international level.
Yeah, but I would say she's a really good example for the rest of the youth players. If you do get that opportunity, then you need to hold on to it, and Kirsty's certainly done that, but she's embodied being a professional player. She tries her best all the time. She's never a problem, nothing's ever an issue for her, so she's really harnessed that, and that's, it's a good example to set for all the other young players.
Fia Runak, I guess, Liam is more eraill bysio gen I this artist again o Fadachking. Hey, Faye the McLaughlin China dyfa mwy. Clean a dyfa stygiach. Wel, ni sy'n y pas y ber. Wel, dy ryddig yn gyddyd sy'n ffas a ddasg y mwr a chwyd i sŵas go Lavera. Sŵag Lesliasich sy'n ein ffasmach. Nes ydi eich chamwr yn dy Davidson o'r lech. A pecyn dy haring i sy'n y ddilyn ag Lizzie Arnott ach chwyd i Aslish. McLean a dí iste de bhá agus a vinneachca ó sa tarsin go McLaughlin. Níos can le pass for McLaughlin mac leor a pass siimplí annach ag a briste gaibh háas. Ní muúr go as go Gibson. Gafarach go nóir san farhardaí gibhí rip amach ach Rangers could cúise mar a ard a de fadc. Oscarson. Genema, Cumulato, Bia Davidson. The Shiad Ashka, Lauren Davidson, Duval, Whelan, with Hoshachara. I guess if you can find Jimmy Kill in the tag. I guess it's Shinad Ash can triplech go Jenna 5. Get Tally, I can hear the Lauren Davidson, it'll sue us a douche. Smúin het bal fatach an oors an a runachig go a dash táintse chi ríist. Larkin, Cassan skippels de bhuaid beise sin is Dave an a chliaich. Haas de dal. Agus gur a city gírich leis a glósa dat cumala dálach Rachel Rowe. Blachig Larkin. Fine fall of a true the Shindrin Yima. Wardlow, Dolkanaka like Lauder. Larkin Kairi Gudit, Shin Farlato, Nach and a life glee. Dúirí costa bheith círi is there has tag Kenzie Bierach and the Isha Shech triplech. Wardlow the Isha pass it all Chidach go cornet. Mach Goro. Isha in on triplech Livy. Behind the Cusi and the Isha pick and the Haring is in the lane of Nicky Doherty. Reach the Lickalish game, Cumulato. Here to the scene, yes, get a Kirsten McLean, a bow Hal. Lauder. Doen dan een cointie Lavera via Gedusa. Hij moet op een groei toch in een lei heen zo. Tijgje is het zien we Larkin in de koelui. Dus we geven aantal mag. Habit bach agus dai go wir agus hy fine goginnig ken ze weer feinach jerin cap ze hebben je klech gejelish son goginnig shnai get it shato Karen Kedic, that's for Conan Kuchuk, Lavera the Gutch, Nurin to City Prague, all of the show from Nuring. Wayne, look at the Cassan, I guess the Brachtach, the Tolsuas. We got Kuntish. Just here with the fella can Kurushina Sashka. I guess Kero. Toch naar Pagorgen de vraag heel zo zeg stu Paul van McLean de eerst. Leerslie. Dan hier het le. Lauderle zo gaat dat je wil nas je mag hij is mag de vaat. Yes, Joe Potter. Geraint. I think we'd seen a few of them, Amy, and finally it's caught up with Larkin.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's, you know, she's maybe not used to taking throw-ins, so sometimes it happens, but at this level you don't really expect to see a foul throw.
But Joe Potter with Geraint Mayon agus mar hacha that rapat. New check ahead. Wardlaw. Here's a dara. Here's the Sheena Cassister. Orderly Kuchimichin out of a cool look. Fatta, Doherty trying to keen gaan get Chimical or shit. Get the let's take the mistake is single Doherty crack staan achter go even. Maar we gaan verder het lunchen van de Lochgley, Rangers, Leeuwen. Jenna 5 and then a push. I guess Victoria Essen. Engage Farmach pristje geshow, agus Arne te die prachtig so is in Arne, and that's frustrating from a Rangers point of view, Amy. They find it so difficult to get away down the flanks, and when they do, the flag goes up.
Yeah,
I think that might be quite a harsh decision on the first viewing.
Yeah, it looks as if actually Lizzie's onside, but I think that's where Rangers are going to get most of their success, if they can try and double up in the wide area and transition really quickly. And behind, particularly if Davidson and Larkin are out of position, it leaves an overload in the areas. So I think that if Rangers can, they need to try and get the ball more out to Arnott and use Hay more as well.
Yes, toch goed van muur en ik heb haar toen broodje Howard in de hoek al, tegen die goedje stuit. Cheers de volkste, dan gaat het Chigadashko loader. Dus Larkin, de Gadash, zo is de vaart, wel wat schön kutje, de loader, Whelan, Klassio, ja met laat het geleden zo'n skip of je goed de Rangers, ik is nog zo'n 5 misschien gaat geleden bal, Gadashje. Stuurman, ook gederap staan. Een kleine dode volkste, Shelike Dishket. Sport is misschien voor die bal gemaakt. Die is fijn. Larkin, ze zich geen wil zoelen en afgekeken naar de haaien. Zat de geboeide zeg. Logale drappen. Wardlaw, Sheena, Kassemach, Oscarson. Val Suez, agus met de fijn stuurde. Kozak, dat is een voorlange daar. Die kan je het om in je boxen, puchtig voor Nicky Doherty. Misschien kan ook laven de koeling. Een shock om te zitten, via in de route kan hij niet Darakac. Davidson agus Lauder, Shilting Uyan. Skiljaar hoe is van een goed weer smuur en is Lavera 5. Weet je dat? Could the line she is through the Zavala Rangers. Maar dat nog weer checken wel het vatte Skiljaar dash. Tillig Pentigi. Lauder Kankel, Davidson, Ishal, I guess, Karen Truig, Chitko, Doherty, kind of follow up, Wardlaw, Adashka Gibson. Lauder, Karamich Bauer, most of the skippel ten a Davidson, if you in the room, you know, you hands. First in the plane, Jich, good to read the dash whip up. Vera the Quakiana Machinach again. Kumalato. Oscarson. Imigasul here, accumulation. Al the line should go quicker than a gear. Can you check for the side? Mitchell Rowe. I guess an ish. And you check the shank. Kirsty Howard to the Faka Leila. She was just caught by the ball in the face there, Amy.
Yeah, I think that when it's so close as well, there's nothing we can really do, but it's a sore one. So hopefully, but Kirsty's a robust player, so she'll bounce back up, no doubt.
Still waiting for any clear-cut chances though. It's been a strange kind of game so far.
Yeah, it's interesting because both teams have really kind of set up their tactics to be able to cancel each other out, which is probably, it's always like that I find up at Petershill. But rest assured that in a split second the game can change in an instant, and we've seen that in the past before as well.
Given the situation City were in coming in before the game, will Leanne Ross be slightly happier of the two coaches at this stage?
I don't think so, because I think that the key thing is that Leanne wanted a better performance, and whilst they're performing really well defensively, I think that City have lacked the options, been able to go forward and create the clear-cut chances and been able to link play, be able to get players forward and numbers forward. So she'll probably want to see an improvement in that, but it's 0-0, all to play for, so much better than the game against Celtic.
Ria Hardy has to find pick and code. Miss Kumiola, hemically the line for Gorstach Kuchuk. Shouldn't could Dal in the game. I guess Minachin Stochak Jiddy here at Le Kuchuk, Brackman a Chora Kuchuk. Hardy, I guess I would fear the Chile gate Maha. Ross, Joshua Kenya, Kafim, Rio Hardy, Chile Gadash, Ashke Lear Slim, and Sanya Dash. Kate Lakinis Chile. The tag, Lesha, Baular, Parsing, Cointerson, Arnett, Khadish. Here too is Docheli Garcia's picker. The shin mar a year, yeah. First on a Kadoosh, check out Cornet. McLean. Finish, Carol. Close it. Here, he was a canoe. شخت الغيرة كتهودي شو قال لك كاون Doherty ليش باو فاتر كيري كلوست فو أرنا تخوذيلا أوسكارسون شن درايبة de wel, maar als je nu verder ziet heel. Lachlan. Hey. Ja, serieus, kan hij hier te zien? Larkin is er water. Nu, ja, dat gaat outline vallen we hier door. Je moet je kutje belarken. Zo is het hier in de gele wielen. Muur. Hier kan het zijn kutje vast got it. Kozak. Pick and roll McOscarson, die Valma geef Lauren Davidson. Pass Kummerscher. Geiri dash for Kozak, Skyan. Nachanorshin, Bow, Tarsing, Geochrawashk, Jenna Fife. It's difficult for the wingers, Amy. There's just not the width there, or to get away from defenders, and as a result, the final ball is not quite there.
Yeah, I think that you can see that obviously City are trying to utilise Lauren Davidson. You can understand that because of her pace, but there's not enough space to be able for her to really open her legs and run into, so it becomes really, really difficult. And then when you link the pass, the second pass has to be perfect, or else it makes it really, really difficult.
Too fast to Shin by McLaughlin, Hardy, Lee Gibson, the Mach. Yes, Gibson kind of ask him a look at people call off Suasco Lavera. Muir, got Lavera. Cornet. Dus Fudge nog in ieder geval. Is het die is was het prestigious? Fydd geen tøl alach taich gefach as snule. Slugin a 10 minuten i'r agel Galiwnia. Die is terug wel Arnett Gahukal. Doherty. Arnett to find Suga, ach Nurgi, ach Khudamach, Fishin. All the dash to City. At this stage, Jamie, it's just total stalemate. What's it going to take to break the deadlock here?
I think that you need, probably from a Rangers perspective, you need to be able to get Howe at a Hardy to be able to maybe drop in, but then you need your midfield runners to be able to run through, so it's maybe looking at a third man run. But from Glasgow City, if you look at the situation where we're in just now, the distance between their midfield and their two forward players is so big, so to be able to get numbers and overloads is really, really difficult. And the type of ball that they're playing, you need that to be a wee bit lower so that Lavera and Whelan can hold that in to be able to allow that to happen.
Davidson. Die is Nurgi finds zoals de line. Dus Doherty smach kijk je de vouw die is. Hey, Doins leertje heen, le pick and broom. Tune vouw zoals Scott Kirsty hebben. Tune dag ach G's de moon ach bouw de plistje gedasje. Rachel Rowe, via in de room jenige heen het oude box ach die is ja. Kus de Legion City McKenna. And skip out of a row of piece skill snookershin. Doherty, Geoch came again with Tokal Pika. I guess Rangers toch een viechen die Praag halen de show. I guess in de channel Galiwnia. Mitchell Rowe get a piece skills snock of a shin. Dave Howell, Lish of the Boshank, Gagal Gedic, Kirsty Howitt, Rowan Kerr, Tune Dagashech, the triplet. And his Larkin got Aina Fuller. McLean, doing some Rangers. Fiechan zich goed je hoort, je geriesch, je gaan jullie bal, gemuur, maak jullie hoor. That's a nice bit of skill here from Rachel Rowe, Amy.
I think I might have dislocated my hip if I ever tried that when I was playing, so you need to give her credit, you know, but that's what it's going to take. It's going to take that level of creativity to be able to try and get the opportunities in and around the box, but, you know, kudos to Rachel for giving that a go.
Piece of sharking again, make a show game at that. I guess fuse Leanne Ross, Lefia Vigadara. Vrut me gedig we sisse keer in is het chaos en gefaske leeuwne. Weet je de keer in een klikje dan ik zit die kafake, you know. Wel schön gaan het maar aan en schön is tegen een game zit je kan het zo'n unje gas voor more soering geef. Vera. We meer kafake, you know. Es schön voor paar count Arnott die val. Davidson yn coet yn rwy'n yn ymwneud â sy'n am Whelan, sy'n fasgar y cosa cwtioch Eist hier toe, gael ei gael sias Klein Hies mwyn efo un sy'n fiach yn deffain y cwl y Kenzie Bierach Fe sy'n doin gael ei o'r roi iawn o ddosach yd hawyd Hastig Rangers sy'n difal gyda Eist mwyn as y rad Y dyfawl anig tarsing Ro, Eist Na'n siimic ilydd Wardlaw Doherty, we can room eich geid ydi faw Ysio pas y dwrd colwch, wel, a doedd as Yes, da skip ydi fi gyma ffaith gylwch Sy chyd le Mae'n tag le, faw Ydy gyn Jeffrey fiach yn di brogan hei ein ystod ydi is chatol troia Gyn driplach go Lee Gibson Oscarson Dyn nhw diw yrda sach yn oes yn y bawl y chyngi Symach ei ddifal Ydych drisbal Suicidation Sun City Sun Orson Yw'n si anamach Kenga Koza Gedd Rachel Rowe Cymrach Chilton Clemi Hollage Ys y fai Mynd yn yw'n sesiwn Ys y reach yda Tro bot ar asyn y clwyn jynias fwy Cwyd ymach chach gydach gan y clwch dan eich Clean, gach ymwyl y dol Arsyn to Chelsea Cornet Doherty coint Cabell Arnott Eesh, gan yla Nibaw Wyp ysio ma McLaughlin le head of a mwy Fo nach dwydd at ystau Ys Michaela Moore Sarad Diolch sy'n o laint i chi Agus bydd Fenash Oscarson Yn o'r un Leanne Ross Y chrytsion Agus smwnig gyfreid y chic na gam y gwynt yn orsyn Bydd a chorag chwn yn sport Finish Your first instincts on this one, Amy?
She definitely moves her arm towards the ball and that's the difficulty in the positions because as a player now you're always worried when you're moving out but there's definite movement towards the ball and it's a penalty in my opinion. The only thing that surprised me about it is that it took the referee a couple of seconds to maybe make the decision.
Wel, bas yn chyn y cynioch gyro a cars, agus geraf an engine ein gyro, agus a ganyan y geringen a Kelly Lauder have the finish. The Lahesov, agus inis Cara Mike Rio Hardy. On a spot finish, Rangers to fit it Hoshach. Then a slew in a davinage go leúne. Hardy, you know, Gibson Mahat. Hardy. Agus ha Gibson I get Patrick Leor. As an Oshank, agus na furing startach a dweud, minute tŵl ar eich gen y deisen, ag Rio Hardy, agus a Rangers at Hoshach, Raleigh Lee Gibson guessed the right way, Amy, but the penalty was accurate enough, there was enough power in it, she couldn't get to it.
Yeah, I think that's what you're looking for. You're wanting to aim for that side net, and Rio's done a great job to be able to put it in there, but Lee's unfortunate because you can see the ball just dips, so she's maybe potentially going to just get a touch on it. So, but game on now. Glasgow City have got a decision to make as to whether they go for it or not.
And I'd imagine that changes the team talk that Leanne Ross was going to give a few minutes ago.
Yeah, absolutely, because if you're going in it now at half time, then it's great, but to lose a goal this late on when we're just about to move to then changes everything.
Potter I dó híos fáin go bhfuil skip eichise das der on in eine Toshach and a game had a bhí chofash. Na vinach the gúne varach go bhíacinnig jédig chiad le. Lochler Rangers County to ille ein bua sui chiad there. Gedul Chris Chin a nistir the game off the Femi City in a max the Darley. Yes, in the final rush Quillen and shot. You know, Jenny is three. Game Kinashin is Fassi Burn at the attain. This is Skippy in a skill. Hardy with the finish. Fotola. Wardlow the Penasachits and if you stay the crew look. It's in the heel of our Butchach Mara. Nicky Gollard. Doherty. Cara McGee, the Rangers Kate Lee. Arnott. Kish Joe Potter came out of the police stock at the hour of in the Uti and the Arley. Karen Dochers have a Troyach Femi, Oscarson Jalik at this range in. You fear that, going to get that Gian on the sea of channel, power line of follow up. Chicken, Nishjadak, Algena, Noon Yavarach, Rachel Roach in a room you hate. Habit. I'll show up with this streak, and if I kill Broken Hay, I'll give Kayla Moore a follow it. I guess shouldn't. Jade, the kid late. I guess game is in foot. Go fast, get a near gedig must do it. Rangers. Noon third gonna game. I guess Anna Oscarson the Penasach on a bowl. The line is the box. I guess Rio Hardy. Mara stool gi the decent set. We could really check when a spot finish. I guess like Leeunia shouldn't kill a Glasgow City again. Glasgow City in Yoni. Rangers ahoon.
Well, Sinead Rangers is Hoshach Eichlee Achúne. Gida Froley Achúne Rio Hardy if I get tell around a Japheth Guyson. Amy, a pretty slow first half, you have to say, but it came to life towards the end there with Rangers getting the penalty. What were your overall thoughts in the half?
I think both teams have set up tactically to really cancel each other out. I mean, Rangers have obviously gone, you know, in terms of their front line, they've got 3v3 there, but you're probably looking for the wide players to be able to kind of capitalise on that. But it's dragging Davidson and Larkin back, which means that then on the other side of that, Glasgow City can't get up because anytime the ball goes to Lavera or Whelan, they're really struggling because of distances.
Has it been almost poor quality from the two sides, or have they just simply cancelled each other out?
I think they've cancelled each other out. I think that where you want to see a wee bit more quality is probably in the creativity. You can see that Rachel Rowe brought a wee bit of skill and trickery in around the box, and you're probably looking to see a wee bit more of that because that's what it's going to take to be able to break break each other down.
Well, we can have a look back now at the goal and the incident before it as well. And I think you said it was a penalty in commentary. We can have another look here. Have you changed your mind, or still a penalty for you?
No, I think that, and my initial thought on it was it looked as if she moved her arm ever so slightly to the ball, and then when you seen the replay it kind of confirmed that. But I think the thing that sometimes often puts debate in people's mind is the referee hesitated ever so slightly, and that kind of gives people, what they're thinking, what's the delay? Maybe he doesn't think it is, and I hope probably in City's part that it wasn't going to be awarded, so that can sometimes lead to a wee bit of controversy and anger, which I'm sure that it has for Leanne in Glasgow City.
What can a defender do in that situation though? Because we don't actually have VAR here, so you're doing that job for us, but we can have a look back at it now. As you see Oscarson there, does she move her hand towards it?
It's really, really difficult because sometimes it's just a natural instinct, you see it and you can be in these situations, and it's also so difficult because actually the laws itself are quite complicated, but for me it definitely looks as if she moves her hand towards the ball. Her hand isn't in a natural position because she almost moves it out from her body. If she keeps her hand in, then it becomes a really different situation, and she doesn't in that situation, so it is a penalty. Probably really disappointing from Glasgow City's point of view because Leanne asked them for a better performance. They've given that defensively, they've cancelled each other out. You're going into the second half, you're thinking 0-0, great.
In fairness though to Rio Hardy, slotted it away. She didn't actually have too much to do in that first half, but against a keeper of Lee Gibson's quality as well, just no bother into the bottom corner. Yeah,
I think that's the thing, and as soon as they got the penalty, I thought they're never assured with Lee being in goal that they're going to score the penalty because she has a top quality goalkeeper. I've seen her save many a penalty and caused me a lot of heartbreak, I have to say, with Scotland at the Euros, but I think that's the thing. So for Rio to be able to step up in this moment under pressure and be able to slot it away is really important.
How disappointing, though, you mentioned it earlier, but how disappointing is that goal from a Glasgow City point of view? Even though they haven't done an awful lot themselves going forward, you imagine Leanne Ross would have been fairly content going in 0-0.
It just changes the game, and I think that a lot of people, you often talk about when you lose the goal, because if you lose it really quickly and then you manage to kind of garner yourself and you're going in at 1-0, it's great, but to lose it so close to half time becomes really, really difficult for the managers to be able to cope with, because you're already kind of practising, right, what do I need to change, do I need to put, and it just changes everything you've probably been thinking about for that half.
How impressed have you been with, from a Glasgow City perspective? One positive maybe is Abby Larkin. We've not seen an awful lot of her. 18 years old, slotting in at left back, not her natural position. What have you made of her first half? She's
been really, really good because Brogan Hay and Rachel McLaughlin are really good players down that side. They've not been able to capitalise at all down there. Brogan's not been able to go 1v1 very often, so that's real testament to Abby. I guess that my big question would be, given that she's not played that, and how Leanne's asking them to play as a wing back to be able to get up and down, is how long she'll be able to sustain it for, because it's completely different. Yeah. And to be honest, I probably would have needed a lie down after about 10 minutes. So I think fair play to Abby to being able to do that at such a young age, and also the calibre of player she's up against. So definitely one to note for City.
Another youngster as well who's doing well on the Rangers side this time, Kirsty McLean. You've been impressed with her. You spoke about her in commentary there in the first half as well.
I just think that a lot of people look towards Kirsty and she keeps the ball, and I remember when we first started to integrate her when I was at Rangers, and the first team players straight away would just give her the ball, which is quite unusual in that position in centre midfield where it's tight, and sometimes you're really worried about losing the ball in that area because if you transition you lose a goal. But Kirsty's so assured in how she plays and they're confident in her ability, and what's really nice for me is she's changed her game ever so slightly. So she used to play short all the time, so obviously Joe's saying to her, can you hit the ball a wee bit longer, can we be a wee bit more dynamic in her attack? So she can play these short link-up passes, but she's obviously trying to hit players in behind as well.
Youngest player in that Rangers team as well. Amazing.
Yeah, and you wouldn't know that because she is a very mature player, but she comes from such a great family, and obviously has broken into the Scotland set-up as well, and it is, if you're ever looking for a player to be able to admire from a young player's perspective, then Kirsty McLean's that. Yeah,
great example, absolutely. Well, Adrasta, Ike Leo, Húnne Sanada, Shakin, Dolach Lane, Bod G, Sienna Luckley, Ike Rangers, Vic Essen, Agus Jenna Fife.
for me, I was an outfield player at first. I played full back, and I just loved football back then. I didn't really think about being a goalkeeper. And one day at the youth team I played for, Muirston United, goalkeeper wasn't available, so I used to go and goals at training and just for fun, and next minute I'm in, and that was me really.
I was also an outfielder and our goalkeeper got injured, so yeah, like Jenna's story, I ended up jumping in goal and enjoyed the position, and yeah, I moved to goalkeeper at age 17. I think for me at 17 I realised that was probably more suited for me, but when you're 10 years old you kind of just want to run around with your friends, and being in goal when it's in the middle of winter and it's freezing cold is not so much fun.
I did love playing outfield. I think that's how I got into football in the first place. That's how I fell in love with the game. But when I went in goals, I was surprisingly enjoyed it, and I think I did get the choice to go back outfield, and I didn't really know what to do, but as I say, I ended up staying in goals, and probably a good decision because I'm not sure I would be where I am today. I know a few outfield players that would fancy themselves as goalkeepers, but I'm not sure about vice versa.
I think once you make the transition into goal, you realise like, oh, why was I ever running around as an outfielder? So yeah, there's no turning back.
No.
Handachúd Jenna agus Vic it grún gemich in a chluich the Rangers and Hazense. Sie het de draaste a sia ag bar in SWPL. Tosha Toshigi bach gesonriche de manager ud Joe Potter a Hanneke stay a staured agus haid style ud a horse stech in a club. Ruta Jenna agus Vic a fine clachjedish.
It's been great, it's fresh, we've got new coaching staff and a few new players as well, so it's all very different, but it's been really enjoyable. I think we're all on board with the way Joe wants to play, and so far it's been a successful start to the season. We've only dropped 2 points so far, so still in the League Cup as well, so progress has been made and it's been really positive.
I like the style of play that Joe has, that she expects us to play, and she puts demands on us to train well and to perform well, but she also encourages us as well. Yeah, we have to take more responsibility now with the ball and make sure that we're nailing passes in around our box. So yeah, it's great. I think it's challenging us, and I think it's also paying off.
I think the game's grown massively, especially in goalkeeping wise, and you see a lot of the top goalkeepers in the world now, male and female, they play a lot with their feet, probably majority with their feet rather than their hands these days, so it's massively important. I think it's something we've both added to our game over the years.
Van a Hanek Vic Rangers the Duker Davila is fichit sig ja. Ha Isha agus Jenna idri farpish on in lene ad the hun. Sul kamerat the fadakik me ging shin agus mar a high torch boy in carches echterat.
I think we've been goalkeepers long enough to know nothing's personal in the game. She's one of my best pals in the team and we get on so well. Training's so competitive, it's really, really high standard, and fighting with Vic every week for the jersey is going to challenge me even more. Our goalkeeper have fixed standards. Obviously just been at the World Cup, so it's not easy to compete against, but as I say, I think it just betters us both.
Yeah, I'd agree as well with Jenna. We get along very well, probably a bit too well at times, but it's a very nice dynamic that we have. It's a competitive yet friendly situation or environment that we have here. So yeah, I think we enjoy coming in every day and challenging each other, and at the end of the day, whoever plays, we've both had conversations about supporting that person as best as possible, and I think we've got the balance pretty good.
Definitely.
Hatar Ewels ag Jenna agus Vic ag ide clubbe agus internationte. Ag sul che chália a hafke de rakenich gus delke din a hammen an art as ishal a vies a chien le upper nech glei.
Being a goalkeeper, there's not much room for error, and there's been certainly lots of times in my career where I've made plenty of mistakes, and you have to go through a lot of adversity in football, but more so goalkeeping, I think, and I think it's definitely something I've proved on since I was younger. Definitely more thick-skinned these days, and you need to take it as it comes. We all know it's part of the game. Unfortunately for us, it's probably cost a goal, mostly when we make mistakes, but we're all human at the end of the day, and we don't go out there to make mistakes, but thankfully, I think minimising that as much as possible in our games.
I'm quite analytical, so I think any action that I do, whether it's a mistake or not, I'll analyse, and being a goalkeeper can be really tricky in a game because you do have time usually to think after an action's happened. Sometimes you might not touch the ball for 20 minutes afterwards, so trying to stop yourself from going over and over the action or the mistake or whatever's just happened is a really important one, and sometimes I do better than other times with that. I think the goal against the Philippines I conceded in the World Cup I've probably replayed in my head 800 times. But it's a constant work on the mental side of being a goalkeeper, because it is on match day, it's very much a mental game and a mental focus for 90 minutes, rather than training is more out the physical side of things.
I think for me, like, when I was younger, I fell in love with football just because I enjoyed it so much, and I loved playing football and I loved playing with my friends, and it was just like the best time when I was playing football. So I think my first piece of advice was like, just make sure you enjoy it. Like, don't put too much pressure on yourself, because at that age there's really no pressure. Like, I think fall in love with the game and then you can start building on that. But I think that would generally be my biggest piece of advice.
First started playing football with all my school friends at school on the field, and I absolutely loved that. And you know, it's very easy when you get into the teenage years to start to think about wanting to perform highly. But you know, there's plenty of years with pro leagues now. You know, you could have a 15-20 year career at the elite level. So yeah, there's plenty of time to stress about that stuff. I think when you're young, you've just got to try and enjoy it.
Sin gaibh maha Vic Essen agus Jenna 5G. Sin luckily a seo ag skipper Rangers. Amy, lovely there hearing from Jenna 5 and Vic Essen, two people that you know very well from your time at Rangers, and it's actually refreshing and nice to hear how their relationship as keepers, despite the competition there, they're in a good place with each other.
Yeah, and actually they alluded to it a bit. They're actually two very, very different characters, and I think that Jenna's probably learned a lot from Vic, because Vic is very analytical and sometimes too much so, and she's very focused, and Jenna sometimes comes across as this really chilled and laid back person, but again has a real professionalism about her. But you know, it's a rare situation for a lot of clubs now to have a really good number one or number two, and actually, you know, I think they're two number ones. That, you know, because there's not much of a difference as to who's in goals. And I'm going to bring it up before you do, because I know that you've threatened me that you were going to do it, and obviously I've got experience of that.
Yeah, you do, absolutely. Tell us all about that.
Yeah, so we were in the cup final. I was playing for Kilmarnock against Glasgow City, and I was playing outfield, but I did have experience as a goalkeeper, so I actually went to my first club to be a goalkeeper. And I remember for the full time that I get put in goals, I kept just thinking in my head, please don't hit a shot, please don't hit a shot, please don't hit a shot. But we actually won the game, so it was good.
And you also scored, you're underselling it as well, and won the cup.
I scored, and then I get put in goals, and then I remember, because you know, it was like Sue Lappin and all that were playing. I thought if any of them hit a shot, then it's going to be a goal. So yeah, but we came out winners.
Former cup winning keeper, then we can put it on the name graphic the next time you're with us.
I'm not quite sure about that,
but just so the viewers at home know, you obviously left Rangers in the summer. What are you up to now?
Yeah, I'm just about to start a new job. I'm going to work for the Premier League audit company, so I've got a real passion about youth football, and as much as I really enjoyed working with the women's game, I'm delighted to be able to go and support that a bit more in England, and be able to audit the girls' academy, because they've just had the new standards put in. So really excited about the opportunity and learning and growing more again.
Well, all the best with that. We'll let you head back up to comedy. The teams are ready as well. Hitching a dash and no Gunya Callis on our game face good as you. Alec Henley.
I guess Rangers could have done the dash good all. Sat dead Hoshach. I guess that the Toshach Gamal Lua Shaw Kuchak Rachel Rowley. Hier Derp. Fiachan Ni Tarakis at the Visha Chimari here in Rio Hardy. You kind to show the Daratur like giant. The Gibson Fashka the finish of a Shinahavel, a Hapurinji. Kind touching away in the Lua Kilioris and an Urba Cardi Humalamach. I guess Dula next city Sadarale, Pemiat. Yeah, in the Rutiganine as a game, so Kainis Mavinicus Rangers, be at the all Unfungirk. It Hoshach, the city Givolach. I guess the game of Araka, the Lukach, and a Jewish Shipper board of a gown like a neither second days and a no you skip it. The League. The Domavasтрama, the Lama Gedigan Taste and a Nuri, and Guy Brooks and Lauren Davis in the hill. The game, I guess, Kuna to Shog after Asadari. Have it, I guess, Vakaramaika Daratul. Ian Shin. Amy, you made it back up just in time for the first real opportunity of the second half, and when that opening presented itself, you thought Kirsty Hewitt's going to stick this away.
Yeah, I think Lee does really well in these situations though, because she makes you think about it. So for Kirsty, she probably has thought about it. You can see on the replay here, she's just got a couple of seconds and she's focused more on the ball, but she might have been better just lifting that over the top of Lee, but it's easier said than done sometimes.
Well, that is fine us. Víscha sem blastra seo ag City ag chú forsta nach chala tiga i diedig. Whelan. Cool Davidson nach Cormac gas tuned out. Agus passed cool course ag that Wardlaw Tarsin Gamua. Víis troch vála sin fyrst þetta Lizzie Arnott tjúcha granka gemach. Oscarson, Gary Davidson sin fast got it. Víis alachin ar chuma agus sin mava Kirsty Howard. Ro Karen Sabrant ar achwyd at y dwbrach gemach yn y dwyfal brogan hi. Agus is fadach yn fain Chimichael a bi larcan a dda Geno Gleifa mwy dy dwysyn mar a chwla sy'n fo i mi a Gleiwnia. McLaughlin bawd o lamach gyda mas rwytiga brogan hi. Gyda Steinus and Cities. Gibson, chwyd Ashka Moore, a han y driplet sy'n fyna J.D. Val. Howard, cydd cwtio mora. Nitag. Gyda'r ybladach mi orstanach Sun City a bwrdd yn lefera gael os i gyw i fai chyn fy chwl o gael ein y chia. Ys docr til eisiau fawl art asyn. Potter le skill and keeping up his fine. Anything you've noted early in the second half, Amy? Any tactical changes?
No, I think that Rangers obviously it looks as if they've kind of spoke to Kirsty and Rachel Rowe and Rio about how they're going to be able to attack, and they look as if they're trying to kind of arc their run a wee bit more and go in between to be able to thread the ball through. But again, you're probably looking at Glasgow City's midfield, and actually I was just looking at their substitutes there to be able to see how they might freshen it up to be able to close that gap in between that midfield area and the front line to get more support to Levera.
A roin yn achga edifengi cydjeg ysbi. Ma di ffwlt mi holt yn achel eisiau tonsach ydw. Yn yn roin yn y gwtys yn farn y bengi. Drast awbeth gian ac yddianw Arnott le bal tarsing y focs y siachat eich o'r dynnu. Ys lacan gysgiplwch i mas rwytig a brogan he. Marcan gain a Sacha Suas. Mata Casagiglia gyda. Cornet Chewn dy Siolena. Nid ga wbrach y gydasgo Jenna Fife. Gan i'r môr yn edrych eich sydd i gen os i gem. Clay, G siora. Agus Whelan ga gysh fwypa. Agus bwrdd yn gyn o'r sy'n y chwmal ysdiach. Dochart is Leanne Ross. Wel, wat sy'n ewch gyda'r ydych chi lwyd gen y lot. Mae'r fath o ydych chi eisiau cwmol ag Glasgow City. Wardlaw. Mies chynau pas ych ydych ddwrd. Wir. Mies siar o wated hosach y Lefera. skipper Mickey Doherty. Rhys Bowlar dashin, quite on Rachel Rowe, a fech in the fine she is gone noshing. All the Arnott. Skill, Fashka the line. I guess a ball tarsing for a finish in a Abby Larkin. Norsen, Nurpich in a stave or Cornet. Jew, Pavan Kuchak. Yichak at the shame. Really good skill there initially from Kirsty Howe, Amy, and then the shot from distance from Chelsea Cornet.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. You can see that Rangers have probably started the second half better, and they're just unfortunate to be able to not score in that opportunity. And it was a good hit from Chelsea, and you're probably, if you're Joe, you're looking for your strikers just to be a wee bit closer, particularly the way Lee parries that out.
Our Boasters, for you, Helly, Eckley, Gibson, it. Shinna Sherber, Lavera, Ayed. Well, you do like you find you, Dara Paula, how Whelan, Leka, like it's a reach of the Taranya Huki, Rashes and Shin. That's really the first time in the game maybe we've seen Lavera and Whelan linking up like that, a bit closer together.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, because you know they're coming closer together, but you really need the rest of the team to be able to get up and support them. But in previous games where we've seen them play, they were actually really effective together and worked well together, but it's not been as evident in this match.
Well, shot Coram gave you bowlach of the stay going his question Elaine Giannick Rangers. Haley Lauder was Kuhn shot. Game in a Vengek City nach penna since 3 months on a new set. Wenig Lauder of Mark Davidson, Norsen, je staya got all the boxes. We can take a schön Sule Mikro Ballstoch at the line. Fata die is a cool line. Whelan if you can define it, Arnott. No but halach chili gedash could you go line Gianna Arnott has the favours in a here toll in a base and a hit. Vera. Wistig het als je first nog, ik ga je terug bouwen van Kozak en Viech in de fijn, ik ga zeggen Torresje. Larkin, ga Hoka de dasje stij. Davidson, ik is Arnott. Davidson het Tjoendag, Giedag, getocht geta. Wardlow, ga Gumal Pels of ook ze gaat door Ashka triplets. But a bit more encouragement there from a Glasgow City point of view, Amy.
Yeah, I think you're just kind of hoping that the ball will fall and that we'll be able to get a shot away, because it was good build-up play, and again you could see Lauren Davidson had just maybe pushed a wee bit too far inside to be able to move on to that, and that's often difficult if you're underneath it instead of being able to move into the ball. But she's more than capable of scoring from the angles as well, Lauren.
Juska, je mag van een goal, maar Joe Potter de Kiri. Susko Howitt. Shintoy, I guess Norsen een klikje Paul Ma, Susko Arnott, en je Shin Makers te Howitt. Rio Hardy, McCanyev. Arnott haast de vijf in de kar gestegen, vijf in de kusie, you know. Chelsea Cornet ga, kom al het talketa. Go, mag geprogen heen. I guess toch zeggen Torresje, Rachel McLaughlin, en zo in je Paul Wine voor smaak. Amy Guerrero Chile, Santa Visterte, Duval. Mava McLaughlin, die is toch een lijn heen. Nog een jarige dash. Dat is savelig. Gibson, je vast. Smile from Rachel McLaughlin there, Amy. I don't think she quite believed the level of skill she produced there herself.
She's definitely got it in her locker, but I would say that's almost what I was alluding to in the first half. It's great to see Rachel get in the positions, because actually if you create overloads in the wide areas, then Rachel's capable of being able to reduce that.
Caution of his own, Rangers, Arnott, Gudic, Nishina, Nur Papera, Samai Caramel in a small or a city of the Gutch. Duurlijk van Junsi Koza Kata. Emily Whelan. Question about City so that they had to prove the Suez Parach had it. You can define a sash going to click it down now. Game na share Sadia shin kuchok game tara. Nu kuma sul here the shin. Definitely a bit more tempo in the game in the second half, and City are trying their hardest to push up and press Rangers at the back when they have the chance.
Yeah, you could hear Leanne in that last occasion saying to the team, you know, get up, get support, move, come on. You know, she's screaming at them to be able to go up and support, because you can see that in these situations, if they get one or two players further forward, they'll create an overload and they might create that opportunity to get back in the game.
So Nimpi is City, if you can define the Ashkurn and a shot Marashan Idra, Juhu of Arnett, Juhunda of Cornet, Femi go Ashkum attack. But McLean Jech at Coolig McLaughlin. McLaughlin. Al Fata Riish, agus Mood, Hashach, Ro, agus he Echweis is Kroat at Lugo, this game of Baulich the Mach, Edivhal. To the Heavy and the Corey, the skipper coach, Fullach Smunian Arachin Yano, Transadarale, National New the Green Hast. Larkin, read Bowler Howls, Bowlich and Tarsing, Agus Gimig, Lee Gibson, that up, some Grammy in a bit. You hard you find, you can define it, yes, click it and election stay the cool look. Row kind to son survey by Miguel Gao like I nach die is wat pikken te gaan like a reach it. Again the referee took his time before he blew the whistle there, Amy, but that looks like a sore one for Rachel Rowe.
Yeah, I don't think she's set to be able to take that impact in her back, and you can see that she looks quite visibly upset, as if it's maybe, you know, if you jerk yourself it can become quite difficult when you're not expecting a hit like that.
Stockere aardige Shanike Sparige the Joe Potter nearly Torrigel Shanunsi a Shunkama Fullashach. I guess he bringing the Shikera off a my young. It's clear that Joe Potter wasn't overly pleased with that challenge either.
No, even in the first half there was a couple of times where Rachel's came to receive the ball, and I think that Joe at that point was quite animated. She was trying to say, you know, they're not actually trying to make contact with the ball, they're actually just knocking Rachel. So you can see that she's obviously just spoke to the fourth official again about the contact made.
Rachel Rowe has to find Coed. I guess they'll find Bullet and Dream machine. Matt Gorsh, I guess. Matt 3 frames that you could go get. I guess Fiachen die Ooskluk. Als je de kassen, look at the camera, zit je nou slie en al katuivne paadje. Kies je een noordje kumal het al. Zuidwepen verzound de Rangers. Maar er was een reetje de tolletje. Lizzie Arnott via de kip op de hoek al is tijd. Nu fijn hier toe gaat. En is Noorsen. Wielen je normaal als je daar op de vallen. Vera Tong, Sun City, Dolcolar, I guess misschien is het kleef aan je, ga je een tripletje heen, shot. Hij is de Dolcolar le tripletje le kloon. Again, Amy, that looked like a serious one. Judging from the player's reaction, looks like she's maybe twisted her knee there when she went to ground.
Yeah, I think you can always tell. I always say tapping out. See, as soon as a player taps out, then actually it's probably been pretty bad. And I'm not sure whether it. I mean, she's holding her knee, but I wasn't sure whether it was her ankle there. But her foot looked as if it kind of got caught in the Astro. Just seen it again now.
There actually isn't much contact there from Hardy at all, but it's just the way she goes to ground.
Yeah, maybe she's felt something just as she's went to move.
Wel, a sio rwy am y darlu y friswch, tiwch yn ar y fashion smynyn gyro gêm y bewch yw. Agus mae'r hiw a skip y coach sy'n cliched yn drygal, agus Ian Ross yn ysg smynyn ydd arach yw Iano, agus yn cliched yn y Rangers sy'n alwas on ac y mystio y gael, tiwch y gael at y gêm ydd y start, agus Gwynt Forrest, Gwynt Lisa Forrest at ôl ein eid, agus Linda Molt Hallo, gliched ydd Africa, Jes Cwtioch gy Jesach yw son y hyn eid y son City. Vera haast in de dream Gidach e Devhou. Agus gefollisach en je laat Joe nog gekloosd. And I guess when you're not sure, Amy, you don't want to move a player too soon in case you cause more of a problem.
Yeah, I think as well, particularly if it is our knee, a lot of players get a real fright now because obviously we know ACLs are so common in the game, so you become frightened almost to be able to move and you become a bit worried because actually you just don't want to do the wrong thing, but it definitely looks as if they're going to have to make a change here given that the stretcher's going on and nobody wants to take a risk if a player's felt something like that.
Well, na seo tíoch adalach start the game, Grish Van Magemis Tokal Farnapathke. Hij gloos het Gloonia shun pick en a shar en isketa. Leon Ross Gal Chorum stoche pick en Czech gedach gedemach en een klukje dan. Na Galavera Dasha de Kassen. Is er hier alles je kijkt je koekig slie en een onke toe wel in de pathke. Stretcher wasn't required ultimately, Amy, but still looks like a bad one.
Yeah, she's not wanting to put any weight through it, so she's trying to keep the weight off it, and you know you can see that she probably won't be returning to the field of play. So expecting a couple of changes here, I think.
It's a piece maatje de goal. Magim is de goal. Sheers a line. Yes, maar shouldn't I in a kus fame get we gaan een paar. Wie de tokal je. Ach, en is she koshach gesluitig. Ze daar gaan dol heen en is moet Gallo nagus Lisa Forrest. There's Lavera Koekach, which is slie, she is fatch in the path e Devhou. I guess Lisa Forrest, Pure James Forrest, Chianade, is on City. I guess Koza could look at the Dilla at Dolye, is on Montgalo, look at that Africa Jace. As you touched on earlier, Amy, maybe City just looking for a bit more creativity in midfield, which Montgalo will offer, and Lisa Forrest being asked to fill the shoes of Lavera to a degree.
Yeah, both really different players that will bring. Lisa is obviously a lot more direct. She's really quick, which will give Rangers a different problem to solve in Montgalo. I was actually quite surprised she wasn't starting, but given that it's quite a physical game, there's not a lot of room for error, but she's definitely capable of being able to thread the ball through and create an opportunity for City to score.
Forrest to find here too, a geisje for the dash muur. Juhu over Haley Lauders up there in the Shark City. Hier de bal. Estate Makilior. Abby Larkin. Le Corum. Vier geestje nog eens gaat ik er al mine is tegen boksen. Whelan. Yeshkaro Kuchum Sapi at Wardlaw. Aldo Chechat Lauder. Whelan McCunniff. Beckham Roma shot. Forrest Faves this evokes it. I guess it is in the ball. Fine ich mittag as a rat. I guess he skippel. Weer, vierende Beckham te geven again op plisje gemaakt van een goal. Kus de leentje. Gal Rangers chimical already deval. Oscarson, who shachat the finish, Biushis on Genesus and Shin Mazurani, Mark Davidson, Hallo. Is hem niet passen dasje van wat Davidson nog wij toch een in de heel dat je Michael ligt dat ze passen goed je heen. Howard, en je zag vast van zoals gesnokken shot, Rachel Rowe, Hardy face of Oxet, en je Oscarson. Jenema, the penalty incident apart, she's had quite a steady game at the back for City.
Yeah, and she done really well in that situation with Rachel Rowe as well. Stood her ground, waited for the moment, kept her eye on the ball and was able to clear it out.
The Chorum, the Hardys, the Ishak like City, the Fakari Alar, and the Fiachan the Ship, Paul Levinik, Michaela Moore, who are the Vullet. Eunice Hardy, who are the Hardy in Brack, Manaflosh. These knocks and injuries, Amy, have really knocked the momentum out of the second half because it was looking like it was a better second half, but it's been very stop-start the last few minutes.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, but it sometimes just gives you an opportunity to have a chat with a couple of players and maybe tweak a couple of things and just reorganise. But glad to see Michaela. I think it was maybe a head knock with Rio there.
Toch gebeurd Parkboer, Georgia City or wat hartstikke goed naar Peer, ze daar alleen naar de roeien mag ik dit stuk pikken. 5 play, brak voor zoals Kellen Oscarson. Hardy, en die getrouwen hebben het bij de zalen. Hardy, she's with the ball. Unyetje Gorgon and Lish Emily Whelan initially. We can room go through the line, please, and City, Carragadash is there. Davidson, de bestrijdt je, is jegge de bal, tulletje, vliegt trein go, met Galo. Nish chatje, vliegt uit Afrika, Jis. Whelan, die is je. Hier de Kusunje, de bal. Shot Gilligan City after the foul to the Rangers. Hardy, Tarsing, Barnett. Rowe, Dash, Conleving in the Fatke. There's Kuchum with Oscarson. There's Morrison. Ein Sueg in the Valchen. Look at the Mach. 40 minutes, no machine at Ankle P. Here the Gunya Varach, I can full as a hack jerry again. City Tosh Ruya Macha Unya shot. Hardy, Idashka McLean. Joe Potter, smuinje neer daar aardig gegaan. Hallo. Kom eens de bal, goed man toch in een shirt City, meer in een paardje genoersen. Oscarson in de dash, Hallo ka, winnike dash. Oscarson, dash ka Gibson. Puchtige sin, ze dream, va, agus die dochtertje de pennige. En we staan je dream wielen. Tjechagro Gardens Huling is deze aardig uit al heen shot de Rangers maar is een kra. Sarah Ewens. Dat niet. Agus gaan jullie boord te kopen terug. Kirsty Hewitt at all and yet, and Amy, we've not seen much of Sarah Ewens so far this season. This is an opportunity for her in the last 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, I think she came back from London City Lionesses. She was top goal scorer in the championship last year, so she's a top quality player. I think she's maybe been plagued with some injuries since she's came back to Scotland, but really powerful, really direct, actually can play through the middle but can also play in the wide area, so it'll be interesting to see where she goes.
Hier Joe Potter maar Oscarson, so is die Unity Whelan, haar farretje kan op bal op prachtige cool. En some boykesje naar bal op zijn mag. Some satige start de Rangers. Docherty, so is Elena Hardy. Hier toegs, Noorsen Oscarson, kijk voor de mag. Off the two sides, Amy, you'd feel Rangers would be comfortable enough, confident enough to hold on to a 1-0 lead, but you're never sure until you get the second one.
No, and it's not I think since the changes that Glasgow City have made, you can see that they're beginning to get more players forward. They seem a wee bit more vibrant when they are going forward as well. It's unfortunate, like you mentioned, that actually there's been a lot of free kicks and incidents in the second half that have slowed the pace of the game down, because you could see it if it was allowed a bit of a run of play going, you know, and becoming a real quality game.
Rachel Rowe's been in the wards down there today. That's another knock she's taken, and again I think Joe Potter's not happy with it.
Yeah, I think that Rachel's a really experienced player, you know, a Welsh internationalist, so she'll be used to that, but you can see that she's kind of hobbling a wee bit, so you wonder how much longer she'll be able to sustain in the game.
Oscarson fall avach Chile ashar agus Rachel Rowe ashar the Casson Bio Cornet Arna to the Moyi Bowlich and Tarsing Lua agus Dias wicket out Savoksa Oscarson avant guy in a fall of some city. Falakivil Rangers had came again a hook out. And you shouldn't got that take a dash Isavalchach Sean Newsy Vision Ed Rachel Rowe Dias Cass R to Dakal the station and the Wardlow. Alsje het al tjierig gemaakt. Aardig Ellison Glasgow City. Amy Muir dolle hineet. Zijn een farce McGiddigan in de game. I guess Whelan look at that all yet. Presume that will mean a bit of a tactical change for City, Amy.
Yeah, it looks as if maybe Abby Larkin's just moved up to link up with Lisa Forrest, and Amy will go and slot in that left-hand side, which, you know, a real quality player to be able to bring into the
Sure, Cora Market, I guess, because a ball trying to call and Davidson, Karen Sar in the shin. That was Abby Larkin showing, but she could do in that forward position, Amy, but Lauren Davidson just caught a bit in her heels there.
Yeah, but I think that you can see more and more Glasgow City have began to kind of creep into Rangers' final third, which will be interesting to see over these next kind of 10 minutes, because they're actually beginning to press quite high as well and be able to work a bit higher up the pitch.
Joe Potter hier is voor je fast big aan het struggelen, maar game zit leather en je een het boelig sabeltje haast. Hallo, hier is de middag, tweede prootje haast. Genain je vallen pulig. Lauder Tjurka, Granko Troje, Tjuval, Vashenko, Mureke. Maar goed, Mrs. Steya, Nishin, Sonoshank. Femi Chili Gadash, Mur, Balnas Chidike, Atal Chidach Kamitak. Italia can you Dunes, Kumalabuis, Motion of the Troje, Oscarson of Ish. Skip Lachuk. Carlo. Kafa Kafu, Oscarson, Shinikiel, Gibil. Carmick Docker to Jach Shaw, keep the Kamaka, the Shach at the Satagashach. Davidson Goloder, Faymak in a click at an election in Garstad City. Unik Kenzie Beerchach, Rowan a hook. I guess a Wardlow to the Soul for a buoy. Beerchach, Gronko, Gestach, a triple, come a clean, Sashika, lost the skippled the cornet. Second dollar Shachar and when a da skip a game that I can either shit. Nach ski session is tegen een game making le bekenis tussen minutes de goeie avondje gedaan kel. Doherty steek weer. Larkin. Hier de kusser heen in de val we gaan een paardje gebouw Gumas. Kutje kinelletjes tegen een vliegje. Chilbro, Vish, Jenema, Ganyan Kapula, Dine, Haydevi, Levan the Bow with you. I guess two vowel I shouldn't try it. Korea Hardy, I had you Krawata on Shakara. Oscarson, Kafax the game, City in Ishaka Balchin, trying to dribble Jenna 5. Wardlow, Dolkolar, Kutjach, Kagas, triple Jaskish. Kichan the Pinnicky, that doesn't yet. There's falling like flies now, Amy. I think she injured herself in just in jumping there. She seems to have pulled a muscle. Oof.
Yeah, I don't know if she's been into cramp or else, you know, she's felt that maybe something's just went as she's went to jump there, but she's had to work really hard in that midfield area because that's where all the battles have been, and you know she's done a good job because you can actually see in the second half Hayley Lauder's pushed a wee bit higher up, which has really helped Glasgow City because it's allowed the full team to be able to push up along with Metallo coming on.
Quiet, get it, Chanachus in the fee in the round, and you grey with cooler Calapis of Vinach, Charlotte Wardlow. Dat genoemd heel haast. Jeffer Ritter, Skippie se vit finish of a Oscarson. Jicha could a lava mach pican. Na patch na game agi, I guess Rio Hardy, Jen na game agi on a spot finish. At this stage, I mean, it looks like that might be the goal that decides the points here. So it doesn't look like City are, I know I have, but I'm just not seeing City creating any real efforts, any shots on target.
Yeah, I think that's probably, they haven't, but you know, throughout the years and all the years that you've been commentating as well, I'll never rule them out because actually when you least expect it, and I think that's something that actually City really miss is there used to be a real threat from set plays where Jenna Clark was a real presence in the box, you know. And you can see in the free kicks and stuff that they have had, they don't have the same threat in these situations, which sometimes got them out, or got them the goal last season that allowed them to win the title.
Drast féimi at Goladás agus a triple jilla seo. Get a dille in the lot. Ni granach ich. Look at that on the dish. Mordlo. Yes. Mag het core eine dash. It's the same player going down again, so it looks like cramp is beginning to hit Wardlow quite hard.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure what happened there because she went down, but she never actually get back up, and then she looks okay at the minute. I was wondering if maybe she, you know, something had happened. She rolled her ankle or something, but it doesn't look like it.
Potter kaint nasrieriche agus I gial in aske 3 punganella Keinig jech gemich na de vinnig an streeks ma vinnig as seo un jem gier kan streek in de binnig agus Christian at na siegen as laatje dat mullige league Juns doch het le karm Paul ook al steeds toch gestapt Meorach u de Roonjelle. Tanko Hardy. Paul kan je de vaat krijgen Femi Reetje de staat toch de game massage shin. Reetje de Tsjechakeri in een klikje dan Tsjech. Allee Sochket. Paul like Rangers, yes, and Jevedasha. Batavachke. Forrest, and leave Kusiano voor een keer. Mittag, Edash. Go 5. Look at that, I can know you shot some Rangers. It's a fine stay the cool corner. It's a kind of finishing of Michaela Moore. A row of in the fine ikke. McLean. Jenny Lehena, he has to come on the top like a start Gachadora. Nikas Kenzie Weir, like a city in a Svech in the Pristju. With Hallo, the Ish. Dolle Schecheren, Brogan Hay as a rat. Ish McLean, Cassin Skippelte, Sneha Veslie Troje. Megedig weer kustateren. Muur, Rash, go weer. Oscarson, Roemetje shot again, which so is gonna lay Rangers. Stats. Dodash gonna lane it in. Vadak in the city. Impi Hesper good with the lane it in. The Rangers fatten Jeske. Zaten is roeie macha unje. Stegen a koik minute in Megidek. En ze bouwen het al try kan triplets go Jenna 5. Arnott. Oh, Kenzie Weertje. Keer de kusoenje de vals ga je guts sweepen. Time running out for City now, Amy. What do they need to do to at least get a point out of this?
I think in situations like that, it was just happen that, you know, when the ball's going to Forest and stuff, they need to be able to hold it up and be able to give the team an opportunity to support that and not lose possession so easily, because then Rangers are quite comfortable and they're able to keep the ball up this end of the pitch, but they are pushing for a second because it can be taken away in an instant.
Muur, as er rand het broken hee, Deval. Game of Malaka Council Masuringate. When the issue Jonama came to the Boshan line. Yes, I shouldn't yano. Arnott, the Slee no legal shot. Shaw Goramachke, Mayeva to Dara Toll shot. Yerabushin the Pungen. Get the goal to us. You Hardy, Savokes, Kuchak, Ewan Zerlina. Dawn gaan vast de goal. Gibson Kahoka Lasinier. McLaughlin. City at the bow, Gauwers, Richard Rowe, Jenema, die eerst, Gein, Suus, de lijnen. Ja, de behoud, Kju, Achpesje, de Vieter heen en slakken. Licht te garnet, ach, ik heb er maar eens uit, vlieg, but we Masul Giera, dat is nog Chiliaco Hardy. Forest in de leka. Yes, Shokar de City, Kuyu, look at that, vruchtig zoals. Beetje Sule en Noot, I guess, Hinshinia, wel minach. De goeie avondje gedaan, ik ben hoe de goeie vaardig kan ik chillig. Geen secoetje gezond luidig staat te hebben we aan. Oscarson, Kiri het vliegt aan een goal. Go de Voxag Rangers. Yes, Rangers chillig de schiet bal. De vaak alleen laar bij counters van Cogan in de geliefde gaan. Rangers op de Ewens get de bal. Unisje, chuk naga illegaal. Hassens kunnen ze je goed. Als een Karen Kumat of passing a line. Hardy Galar, dat gaat me karo in zie aan Oscarson. Heb ik gewel 6 minuten de goede vark Koviaking. Is Forest het braak in een shotje, ga je dasje de kassen. City haast, maar ook gezet. Geen had het een aardige, erg mee aan de hulting. Marken, Tarsing, Doherty. En dan vallen de kuil. Dat is een ischam, ik laat terug. City café met je kassen ook wel eens een uur bellen. Ja, gaan die gaan als de games in mijn sturing gaat. Forest. De pas maak je jou. Je kan hem kunnen gaan. Maar je tonig. Spartans en nu Hibs erin gemaan nu. Hearts, Jason Derby. Keer door een visker is een chin. Agus an uair sin lígan an áisianan, Júne chiad a láth in a dúlach, Villig, Nui, Alapa, agus hí sin ag léadastú seach. Céile Múir, stúri seo as go Gibson. Maat Lahachart just an City, Amy at Tachart, Gamas Kippelte. Is van in de Forest de Bouwers lei. Aardige gele. Zijn Rangers get nog hele boord te koperige. Jody McCleary, dolle hineed. Broken Hay, look at that chin yet. Quite game by her standards today, Amy.
Yeah, I think that a lot of clubs have identified that Brogan's a real threat and, you know, are getting tighter and closer to her, and I think that that's probably been why they put Abby Larkin in there to be able to match up with her place, given that Amy Muir might have been carrying a knock.
Nagel 3 in a 6 minutes en Búine Barach gyda gael siachat. Colas gyfel City.Ol y Bwynnig. Tywlaen y dash. Sgwrsyn Sinig. Smach. Yn di wir y fiach yn di Jeffer i enw. Si'n ystafan y chw. Wardlaw. Ach gymwyr. Nistia Bawlach yn Tarsings. Docherty. Jyn yma. Cormac Rangers. Dysgu gysio Rachel Rowe. Agus Rio Hardy at the Vamugi. I guess I find it's the cool Oscars in the show. Hardy! I guess I did that at all line. I guess the finger and the get away. I guess in with the Vagi, the Rangers. Something a keen of Nafbig Eccles to be on a jittig again. I guess a clear giddig, not a cricket and a fast ski. Even to Rio Hardy of all the. Matter who the cool line is, Maragavi at all. Just what Rangers needed, Amy. And you have to praise Rio Hardy here, dying embers of the game, showing good standards of fitness and then making sure of the finish as well.
Yeah, I think even more impressive than that is actually that touch where she just takes it ever so slightly across Oscars and she's got a decision to make, because often in these situations you can clip somebody's heels and she can go down, but it's great, and the composure she shows then to be able to try and thread it through, but obviously Lee's unfortunate in the way that it lands and she takes the opportunity.
Tilly triple at Shoak City, Michaela Moore did a lot, with a few minutes left, Amy, time to pick your player of the game today.
Yeah, I think for me it's been Rachel Rowe. I think that she's put herself about, she's worked exceptionally hard, she's still been going throughout the full game, she's been quite influential in the very few chances that have came, but most importantly she just played that pass to be able to release Rio Hardy for that second goal. So my player of the match is Rachel Rowe.
Juhug, Sarah look at the game, Rachel Rowe, I got a love as a Baratul of a Shin who Rio Hardy. Tillich Tala can you show le Michaela Moore, Farna Pathke, I guess Kuakach. Really do healing at Ashel, never the Fisker Ikis Shachat. Could you shin Tilligoon the Jittig again? City, yeah, and the game could have dash got up. Here, the dash. Looks like another defeat for City, Amy, and that raises questions for them. I know it's early days yet, but it just shows you they've still got a lot of work to do if they're to retain this title.
Yeah, I think for me, and it's been even more evident. I actually, you know, Leanne you can only do with what you've got in the players, and I just don't feel that City have got the same strength and depth as they had last season, and that's maybe evident in some of the changes that she's had to make to the starting lineup, considering that there was Knox, Davy Muir and stuff. I don't feel it's the same level of player that's been able to come in and replace these players, and that they're big players for them.
City fiechan die aardige hele geno. Megan Foley het al een zo'n chicken uit aankal. Skarak, Michaela Moore, Shachat, Megan Bell het al een kutje gestaan Rangers. I guess South look at the game. Rachel Rowe am swinging het al get. Wad vi ekkert chayð kiliort de bullen ein ju Rachel Rowe. Utaliche Fashayan. Megan Bell look at the reading at two in the stays on chicken megedig. Is een shachat en een shach minute in de varach genisht. Oscars in de varach ging naar Rio Hardy de kiliort Ashwood. Davidson. Mensen de moeren eigenlijk in Yishu ju hij de weer de ju voor gedacht die is daar. Doherty en de bouwlijnen vallen af. Oscarson de korm heilige dash stay. En is Ewan zo van de dash. Skippel door de boekse. Oh, zie je kunnen te gele shot Wardlow in de klach le Hardy bij vallig in kebagar Yishu weer. Sur de panjes in kujach pachku gelor chu Potter de eerste kaule pech hier is voor City toch kekel nil in de paadke Muur ke jare gedash shagas gaan je finishen sur in jelike de shach is die Arnett Shanage kiet minatchenish in de game Quite a man of the shop pick and the Glens na Shara for the Jameson City. All which in Tarsing at the ish. Look at that Gianna Rangers, Jailik at ish, McLaughlin and drop it. Halo. Ashka Wardlow. Foley. Gidach go Arnott. I guess Doherty ga scoop big follow up. So it's go Megan Bell. Here too I guess Kishaf Haneke van de Pengi. Lard hier get Ewens. Go Suus Elena. Ach Muir. Shindreichput. Forrest find Shachat the Doherty, I guess the ish McLaughlin in the 7-2 vele kakuchchu. Muir. I guess Metag as a rat, I guess in your shin got him again again. Pass can you reach the Nisha Kahain, I guess in the heat of minutes score in the shit. In a room je heen in nodig, Tunedags. Hier door, maar misschien hadden we ook City de taken. Zwarte Nieskerach, Gidach Kutjena 5. I guess Shine game door gekauwd 3 punten hele. San skipper Joe Potter, JMG Kastoi Gele. I guess fungier get Hoshach City Kibulok. Daar huil voor je hard the finish the kid lay. I guess ik 4 gedig y game y dar y tŵl o chwyd na pwngyn y machas y jalw. Christian Moore yn ysg ys o'n Leanne Ross agos Glasgow City ys o'n y chor yen y deisa.
Wel, Sianne, Glasgow City y cawl agos wel has yn ynysg yn pwyngen giac e ddieddigaidd Rangers ag bar y league. Amy McDonald y chin Noas Colladum. Amy, a big win there for Rangers. They're now 11 points clear of Glasgow City in third place. How significant are those 3 points?
It's massive because I think that it's always been a 3-horse race in the league, and it's always been 1 or 2 points, and there's been times where, you know, Glasgow City will leapfrog Celtic or Rangers, but actually to have a situation where they're so far behind is quite unusual in the league. And it'll be really interesting to see how Glasgow City respond to that.
Absolutely, and we can have a look now back at the analysis, the first half analysis. There wasn't too much to say about the first half, but this was a real talking point, and we've agreed now that it was a penalty, but this was crucial for Rangers to go in at half-time with a 1-goal lead.
Yeah, it changes the game, I think, but you could see in, you know, yeah, you get the goal before half-time, but as the second half progressed, you could see a real nervousness, I think, almost creep in, and Rangers actually began to really push for the second goal, which is really important because in an instant it can change, and I'm pretty sure that Glasgow City would have rather went away with a point.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, we can have a look now at the second half analysis, and the second goal came, as you said, Rangers were trying to push for it. Glasgow City were pushing for an equaliser. It eventually came, and once again, Rio Hardy.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, her athleticism, the way that she actually has went about the game, her physicality as well as Rachel Rowe, but actually it's that first touch where she takes it across the defender. It's so difficult for people to be able to do, and probably it gets a lack of appreciation, but then to go on and have the finish is great.
Yeah, we mentioned at half-time the composure she showed at the penalty, but she absolutely blasted that one in at the end there. But she's having a fantastic season, and you imagine Jo Potter, you wonder what she's saying there, but she'll be over the moon.
Yeah, if I know Jo, she'll probably say, listen, go away and enjoy your night, but we've still got a lot of work to do. And I think that's probably testament to her character, and she won't allow any of the players to get carried away with themselves at all.
Looking at Glasgow City, though, I mean, it's another disappointing occasion for them. It's been a very tough couple of months for them. They're now 11 points behind Rangers, and potentially if Celtic beat Hamilton later on, they'll be 10 points behind Celtic. So what do you think Leanne's message will be to her players?
I think it's, you know, they need to stay together as a team. That's really important, but actually I think the biggest problem that Glasgow City have is the injuries that they've potentially picked up today. You could see Michaela Moore seeing quite a lot of discomfort. They don't seem to have the strength and the depth coming from their bench to be able to replace that quality and that calibre of player. So it's actually how they move forward from this point if they've not got that availability of player.
They do have 4 games left though before, well, there's an international break on the horizon as well, but then there's a winter break as well coming up. Do you think for Glasgow City it's just about trying to get as many points as possible until that winter break, and then maybe take stock and see where they are, and maybe bring a player or two in January?
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be key, and actually that was a big turning point last year, the January transfer window, and who could actually recruit. And you can recruit from a different market actually when you in women's football, because you've got all the Scandinavian countries that actually have finished their league, so it's an opportunity to be able to go and strengthen. Just
final word from you, Amy. A significant win, as we've already said, from Rangers, and you could see with some of the celebrations as well that they know this was a statement win. Yeah, I think that even though they knew coming into this game that they had an opportunity and momentum was with them, it's very, very different to go and put that into action. So they would have came here with a game plan, they've executed it extremely well, and it's really important that they now continue that, because they won't. Celtic are still really, really close to them. Hearts have taken points off them. It's been some close games. They've still got a couple of difficult games to go before the break, so they want to get into the break and not drop any points. Absolutely. Well, we really appreciated your contribution here today on BBC Alpa, Amy. It's lovely to have your company as well. Dídeach sa jalachuk a seo BBC Alpa, and that Yadoni ha Spartans at all and now Hibernian. Shit the Toshuk ag Keoduadan Fisker. What Tapalisha is on to be calling Rangers and Pwingen Giac at Hoshuk at Glasgow City. Tapalisha.